afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Buzz Around Texoma. I am your host, Emily Nelson, and today's episode is brought to you by The Point Restaurant. Be sure to go out there and give them some love up in Pottsboro. And today for our guest, we have Miss Donna Dow. She is the director of the Denison Main Street, and I would love for you to tell everyone a little more about yourself. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Oh, okay. I wasn't ready for that question. No, I have been at Denison, the city of Denison, and I'm the Main Street director since October of 2010. And before that, I was in Durant for 13 and a half years as their Main Street program manager. And really just found my niche, I guess you would say, as far as the Main Street world.
Very good. So I heard that you guys have some fun stuff coming up, including Music on Main. That's always a big hit I hear around town.
Yeah, we love it. I was just at an event, and David does our sound from Cadence Studios. Yes. And so he was saying that Mark Broussard, one of our artists, is someone he really looks forward to. He is going to geek out then. And he deals with a lot of famous artists.
Right.
And he doesn't geek out.
I love it. That's so much fun.
That makes it even more special.
So I know that it is a staple downtown for over 2 decades. How do you think that it's evolved since its start? I know you weren't around for the very start of it, but since you've been around, how do you think it's evolved?
Well, I can tell you a little bit about the start of it. It just was some business owners got together and put some money together to have local artists, and they didn't have it on a regular basis necessarily. They just had some concerts, and then that just kept growing. And then in 2010, when I came, it was weekly concert series. We built it up to 10 weeks, and then we became affiliated with the Levitt Foundation.
Right.
And that really gave us some room to grow. We were partnered with them for 3 years, and then we decided that we needed to move on because the requirements were a little bit more stringent. We needed some flexibility.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so we learned so much from the Levitt Foundation, and that's what they're there for. You know, that's their goal, is to train you to have concerts on your own.
That's amazing.
And it's all about placemaking, and so it was a great relationship, and we still employ most of the things that we learned from them today.
That's such a good tool to use to be able to have a mentor to lean on and to learn from. That's always such an amazing opportunity.
Especially with a national platform like they have.
Absolutely. That really brings an extra sparkle to it, I think. But
something that we started when we were with them is we have artists that have a national touring schedule, and then they also have to have songs for download or sale. You know, they can have the old-fashioned DVDs or they can have downloads, but they've got to be available for the public. And then, you know, just the genre and the diversity of our artists. And many people would say we don't have a lot of diversity, but I know that we do, because there's many types of you know, country music.
Right.
You know, there's the red dirt, and then
there's pop country, radio country.
Yeah. And so I think from this part of the United States even, there's a country influence in most types of music. Not all, but most types.
So talking about the diversity of all the bands, what would you say is the biggest, what would you call it, the most remarkable thing about the 2025 lineup?
Well, we start off with Kentucky Headhunters, and they were really big back in the 90s. And, you know, they had songs that you could sing along with. Some of them are goofy, but still, it's just fun songs. And we end with The Great Divide, and that's going to be a spectacular show. We have Ruthie Foster, who we've been trying to get for years and years.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. She doesn't like to tour Texas during the heat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can get that.
but she's coming to be with us this year, so we're really excited about that.
That's great.
And then the Wilder Blue, they are doing great things right now. And Zane Williams, we've had him before, but not his band as the Wilder Blue.
Okay. So super fun, a little bit different, but also the same.
Yeah.
Lots of fun things to look forward to. So what do you think in the Denison community, what do you think that their favorite aspect of Music on Main is?
I think just the community, the laid-back atmosphere and being together. And, after a work week, it's just nice to get out there and relax with lots of friends, and some of them you may not even know, but, it's just a great atmosphere.
I love that. So if you're looking for something fun to do this summer, be sure to head down to Denison for Music on Main. There's lots of fun acts going on. Yeah. But after talking about Music on Main, I'd like to pivot a little bit and talk about this fun, big award you've just won. And she's even brought it with her to show us. It is the Great American Main Street Award that Denison just took home for 2025. Big congratulations to you and your team. That's a huge accomplishment. So what would you say that winning this award means for Denison as a whole?
Well, I don't think we've seen yet what it's really going to mean. And, I want everyone to grasp what it really does mean. And with the attention that I anticipate that we'll get from it, then I believe that they will. I see a lot more tourist activity, people coming to see what it's all about. The best way I can put it, in Texas, we are the third winner, and they've started it in the 90s, and we're only the third Texas city to get it.
Wow.
And Georgetown won it in 1997, and Denton won it in 1999.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I bet you weren't
proud of yourself.
I bet you weren't even born yet.
I was not. I'm a 2000s baby. I'm not gonna lie. So,
but that shows how significant it is.
Really,
it's really tough to get, and it's just something that we're so proud of, and hope to see more Texas communities get it in the future.
Well, that's a big congratulations to you and the whole Denison community. That's massive. So what do you think was the main factor that led to the recognition on the national scale?
Well, we have employed...
Kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. It's like, how much time do we have?
Right.
But we have employed the 4-point approach in our downtown revitalization process. And I think just us keeping our nose down and getting things done and not worrying about, the immediate result,
right,
is how we got there. They were impressed with our streetscape, and it's kind of all aspects of the streetscape, because there's the beauty of it on the surface level, but there's all the things we did below, like the sewer and the water and stuff. Yes. And that was important to them. But one of the most significant things is the accessibility that it brings. So not only do we have accessibility for those with different needs, it's like everywhere there's accessibility.
That's amazing.
You have curb stops, but otherwise you can it's a flush street, and so you can just go into that business that you're trying to go in at any point. You don't have to go to the corner. And our streets are very long, and we say we have the longest Main Street district in the state of Texas.
I can see that, absolutely.
And they're very long, and so I wouldn't want to walk all the way to the end if I had to park in the middle.
Right.
And so accessibility is something that we're really focused on.
That's great, because that's rare in a lot of downtowns, to be able to go and just freely move about, if you want to say it that way. So that's a huge factor for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, you might have a baby stroller or
anything.
Anything.
You probably wouldn't even think about all the things that's nice for, but I know when I'm down there, I love that. That's one thing that I have noticed. Like, this is so nice. You should see this a lot more places.
Yes.
So I love that.
We're still in the middle of phase 2, but they poured some sidewalks this week. So we're moving right along.
That's very good. People like to see the progress too. They just want to hear about it. Yeah. That's good for everyone.
Our businesses have been really good about supporting it and embracing it. They, of course, they don't love the process,
right?
But they see the future and what it's going to mean to them.
And from what I see on social media, it looks like they make fun out of the situation too. A lot of them. I mean, I see a lot of fun ideas that they have, like, come join us in our alley for an alley party. And I'm like, what a unique, fun idea. Which leads me into the alley access program. That was a big thing for the businesses I read about earlier.
Yeah, we started this probably even pre-2016 when we started this whole process. And so if you're going to come and you've got to take an alternate route to the business, we wanted you to be engaged and to have fun doing that, not just like, ooh, there's all these dumpsters back here and it's just a service alley. So we created some fun entrances and started painting dumpsters.
I love it.
And this weekend is our North Texas Arts Festival, and they are going to have dumpster painting as a part of that.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, we have recycling, dumpster painting. So we partnered with Texoma Council of Government.
Okay.
And then the Arts Council, and that's how we get our dumpsters painted these days. And so we're just multiplying those that we have in the alley. So that's just a fun thing. We also added murals.
Okay.
And, of course, we have policies on our murals. We don't let just anything go. But we have, it has to relate to our heritage. Mm-hmm. And so we have a new one that's coming up at the end of this month that I'd love to tell you about.
Super fun. Tell us a little more. Can you tell us any more?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, let's just spill the beans.
Let's spill the beans. We love getting the inside scoop. So what you got?
Clora Bryant was a famous jazz musician from Denison way back. And it's going to be her birthday. She's passed on now, but it would be her birthday on May 30th. And her sons are living in California, and they're coming in to Denison, and we're going to dedicate a mural in her honor.
That's so special.
Yeah, and probably a dumpster too.
I love it.
A matching dumpster. But we're going to have a concert. We have the Sweethearts of Swing from the high school, and they're going to play some jazz music in Forest Park, and that's going to be at 5:30.
Okay.
And then we're going to move over to Ray of Sunshine, which is across from Say When Brewery on Fannin, and we're going to dedicate the mural. And she was a famous Black jazz musician that was invited by Gorbachev to come to Russia, and that was a big deal. Both, a Black musician and a woman musician.
Went to Russia.
Yes.
Of all places.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
And her sons got to go with her, and so they're going to tell us about it, and we're going to do a documentary. Yeah, Split Windows is helping. It's going to be fun.
That's amazing. I love all the fun things, you guys. I mean, it just keeps on coming. You think that they're done with the Main Street Award, and they just keep it coming. I love it so much. So I kind of want to talk a little bit now more personally about you and your role. So when you reflect back on your career in Denison, what would you say that your biggest accomplishment is?
Well, I think probably when it ends is going to be the streetscape. But I would like to think that community engagement is the most important part, because before we did that, or before we do anything, we try to get the community engaged and get their opinions, because contrary to popular belief, I'm not the smartest person in the room. And so we like to get everybody's opinion, because you're going to have a different opinion than I am. Right. Your age is different. And so even if we had the same values, you're going to have a different viewpoint.
That makes sense.
And so we want to get everybody's viewpoint, because I don't want to have something sneak up on me. It's like, you should have thought of this. And then I would, I should have. And so we like to try to vet the process. when we did our vision for the future, and we always have a vision that we're trying to work toward. As a matter of fact, this Great American Main Street Award was in our mission statement. And so now we're working on a new mission statement, and we're going to go back to the same process that we did. We want a wide variety of input because we want to get it right and not rely on just staff to do that. We want to know what shoppers are thinking, what residents are thinking, what students think. And so it's just getting others' opinions.
I think that's huge, too, as a factor to your success. Like, now hearing that, I think that is just massive, because that is one thing that a lot of people, I think, run into, is everyone thinking, like, you make all the decisions because you have that job, when that's not right. And so I love that you've checked the boxes to make sure that can't come back on you, to be honest.
Yeah, I think just don't want it to be, she's so stupid.
Exactly.
If she would have just thought of this.
Right. So I think it's great that you get the community involved because of so many different aspects. Working on the other side of it, too, that was really good idea.
But that gives the public buy-in, too. It makes them care more about it. And as a matter of fact, our streetscape project was because of one committee member that came and said, let's go to Sulphur Springs. I want to show you something. And, I'd done 4 projects and designed 5 and 6 in Durant and been involved in it.
Right.
And so I'd studied, like, for years and years when we went to conferences, I'd study streetscapes. So I was pretty smart about streetscapes, but I had not seen anything like Sulphur Springs. And so I was impressed. And all it took was just another trip taking council members down there to get the vision. And they were sold immediately. And then we came back, and you see the results today.
Absolutely. And everyone from Denison has so much pride about that, too, which is just a massive thing to have in your city, to have so many people with so much pride and love for where they live.
Yeah.
So would you say that, do you think that stems from currently the downtown initiative?
Well,
having somewhere, for everyone to gather and...
I think it's important. I think Denison's always had
yes.
that. And, the Yellow Jacket Pride, the school pride, Sherman's the same way. We have one school.
Yep.
And so, one high school.
Right.
And so that kind of helps with the unity. Mm-hmm. And we want to hang on to that as long as we can. But, that the football stadium remains in downtown is huge for us, because that brings a lot of events. One of our selling points, I guess you could say, is we have 681 events a year. Well,
that's incredible.
Yeah, but if you think about it, we're an active district is what that says.
Right.
But we have churches, and that's not counting every church service, because I left them out. It's counting Bible schools and Easter services and Christmas services.
Wow.
But then you go to the stadium, and that's bringing people downtown every time they have a football game or a soccer game or a
tailgate.
Yeah. And so between that, the events we put on, the chamber and the Arts Council, and then the businesses having, their events in their business, that's how we, quantify that we have such an active district. And if you're looking to bring your business to downtown Denison, that tells you that we're going to have activity going around, and that we're going to have people that could eat in your restaurant or shop in your store.
That's huge. And I love it. I love that it is just so inclusive for everybody. And what a great job you've done on it, to be honest. This award is massive. You should be so proud of yourself. I'm sure you are, but I'm going to tell you again, you need to be proud of yourself, because that's a huge accomplishment.
You mentioned inclusivity, and that's something that we had to work on to be good at. And I wouldn't say we're perfect by any means, but we're better than we were, because with the award, you had to tell how you were, embracing diversity and inclusive. And so we had to really think about it, and then think about it again, and get even better. Our Parks and Recreation team does sensory events, and, our playground at Forest Park has sensory equipment in it, and or accessible equipment. And so, for instance, when we had our Dock Holiday Festival, we had earplugs that you could put in if sound bothered you. And so some, maybe those with sensory, a little bit too much. Yeah. And so we've also tried to have, wheelchair accessibility to where they could sit and still see good, not have to look through the crowd.
Right.
And so we try to pay attention to that. And if we're missing anything, I would love to know about it because we want to be even better.
I think that's great. And I think, have you realized that being inclusive is more in the small details than it is the big picture? Like things that you wouldn't even think about, like the earplugs, for instance.
Yeah.
That's something that...
And we were just talking, Aaron Thomas, one of our council members, was talking this week, and he's doing this little video to promote just, it's just a fun promotional video. And he's getting people from all throughout the community that look different, like, that look different than me, that look different than you. And we've tried to really do that in our advertising to show different people in our advertising, not just pretty 20-something-year-olds.
That's big, though. That's big. And especially for today. So if you had to think about it, what would your advice be to towns who are looking to do what Denison has done, who want to revitalize and bring more people and be inclusive? And what would you tell them?
Well, you have to start small, I think. And, I've thought about it a lot because we're in the Texas Downtown Association and participate in that. And so, what would you tell another downtown that's maybe not even in the Main Street program, what they could do? And I think you have to start out by caring. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I did when I came to Denison, picture yourself back in 2010. It's the economy is just not done very well.
Right.
And 2009 and 8. And so we're just trying to bounce back, but we're struggling because the artist is the community that we had the majority of, and that was a tough time on the artist. And so we had a lot of empty storefronts, and so we just wash windows. I mean, we literally started with volunteers washing windows. It's got to be a place that that looks like others would want to come and be a part. So take pride in what you have.
I love that. Well, Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
And thank you for joining us at the Buzz Around Texoma. Once again, I'm your host, Emily Nelson. And thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.